Okay, we watched the film this morning with the players. Obviously, yesterday we watched it as coaches and made the corrections in terms of things we need to do better schematically, technique-wise, and fundamentally. And you know, at some point you turn the page and you move on. That's what you have to do in competitive athletics. There's always a game coming up, so you apply what you learned and you try to get better from it, and then you move on. So that's what we've done, and you know, we've got to get ourselves refocused and re-energized for, you know, a really tough game up at Washington State. You know, a team that is a lot different than the teams we've played recently. You know, they're just four wides all the time, defensive or offensively, a little bit more four down offensively. So just a challenge in many ways. Certainly a challenge on the field, and a challenge to, you know, get over a disappointing loss. You know, it's a fine line between being 6-0 and 3-3, and we have to find a way to get over that line and make those plays when they need to be made. So that's the focus. It's a continual struggle. It always is, and you know, I think we're up to the challenge. So that's what we're focusing on.
What can you say as far as Josh, how he came out of that game?
Physically?
Yeah.
You know, he's roughed up a little bit. Hopefully he'll be okay to go this week. You know, he's a tough kid. I was impressed by the way he came back in, you know, and fought through some obvious pain and delivered a pretty good performance. You know, he's like everybody else. There's things that he'd love to have back and do over, but you know, I think he showed some grit and some toughness, and I think his teammates appreciate that.
Did he talk his way back in at all? Was that part of it? Did he convince?
Yeah, I mean, he was hurting, and we, you know, gave him a couple series to see if he could work through it, and he was struggling. And then, you know, I just think that he's one of those young men that's so competitive that he kind of willed himself into a situation where he, you know, tried to mentally overcome the pain that he was feeling, and he did, you know, and that's what great competitors do. So, and then, you know, late in the game, he took a shot, and we just couldn't get him back in after that.
Was that his throwing shoulder, that shot?
It was an upper body injury, yeah.
Okay. And the first one, was that lower body, the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got his upper and his lower covered. But, you know, like I said, he's a tough kid, and he's competitive, you know, and he has a will to be back in there. He doesn't want to let anyone down, and he loves to compete. So, you know, I'd be surprised if he doesn't, you know, do everything he can to be back on the field Saturday night.
With him banged up, does Mike get more reps throughout the week just to ease his load and prepare him just in case?
It'll depend on Josh's availability tomorrow and Wednesday, really. You know, how much he can do. If he can, you know, if he looks like he's going to be fine for Saturday, then we'll practice like we always do, which Mike does get reps.
Right.
So when you're a backup, you don't quite get as many reps. You know, that's just the way it is. But Mike does get reps, and you know, Mike's been here, and he's an experienced guy, and he's very smart, and he pays attention in meetings, and so I don't necessarily worry about the mental aspect of it for Mike. You know, it's always a little different when you do finally get on the field, though. So.
Would you say that was the difference? Because he had a good fall camp, and then he came into this game and he struggled a bit.
Well, he struggled for many reasons. We all struggled. I mean, you know, defensively we didn't. We played well on defense, but special teams we struggled a little bit. You know, as you guys noticed, fielding kicks. We struggled offensively running the ball, and I think, you know, it comes back to anytime you can't run the ball, you really make life hard for yourself offensively, you know, because you can't get yourself into situations where, you know, there are easy third down completions, or you get a team on their heels, or they have to continually bring a guy up in the box where you have a chance to make easier throws, you know. So to me, it all kind of starts with running the ball, and I think that would help any quarterback, Mike, Josh, or really anyone else that was playing.
Is there a game plan to get improvement there?
Yeah, I mean, there always is. It's just, you know, I mean, we're trying everything that we can. You know, it's an experienced group. We look at everything very critically, very hard. We always start with ourselves, and you know, are we, number one, are we emphasizing the right things? Are we conceptually doing it right? Are we practicing? Do we have the right people in there? Are we teaching it the right way? I mean, it's a continual quest to try to improve in everything. And right now, we're just substandard in a lot of ways in the run game. I mean, that's not a statement that's going to astound people. We all know that. So we're committed to getting it better, and I think our players are as well. And I think we all have a pretty good feeling for what the issues are, and you know, having an idea for what the issues are and wanting to improve it is different than we've got to do it. We've got to do it.
What do you see as those issues?
Well, I think there's a lot of them. I mean, it's, you know, I say this a lot about pass rush or pass coverage or pass protection or run game. You know, it's a function of all 11. And really it's more than all 11. It's a function of all of us, coaches, starting with me, and players, making sure that we're doing the right things all the time. Making sure that in practice we're giving the proper looks to our players so that they get the repetitions they need to be able to react quickly in games. It's the players taking the coaching and applying it. You know, it's extra study. It's a will to do it. So it's being on the same page on every single play, not having a one-person breakdown here and one-person breakdown there. And a lot of times, at least in my experience through the years, when you're struggling in one area, it's because you're having that continual one person here, one person there breakdown. You know, and every time, no, I shouldn't say every time, but when I think back to my career at times when there have been struggles in a particular part of a game, pass rush, pass defense, run defense, whatever it may be, it's because of that. And so it's finding consistency, and it's hard to find that. And once you get it, you start riding that wave again, you feel good about it. But right now, we don't feel good about it, and we've got to find a way to feel good about it.
You expect to be at full strength at running back this
I would
week?
hope so, yeah. I think it's early to tell, but hopefully we'll be at full strength.
Are those one-person breakdowns coming from the same group at the same, or continually, or do they kind of jump around as?
Well, they're jump around. That's the problem. Is you got 11 guys that have to do it right every play, and you know, and it's hard to ever find a play in football where everyone does it right. It's just hard. I mean, those guys over there, they're trying to beat you. They're scheming you up too. But you know, when it's not exactly right, someone's got to be able to make a play. And for some reason, we've just had some troubles doing that. So. Greater attention to detail, greater focus, you know, being more demanding and accountable, all of us, those are the things that should help us.
Tack and Jaleel, what's their status?
I believe they're both going to be fine, yeah. I believe they're both fine. They both were out there running this morning, so.
Washington State's ran the ball a lot more this year. Does that catch you off guard at all, or?
No. I think that, you know, this guy's smart and he's had success, you know, offensively, and I'm talking about Coach Leach, and, you know, you have to be able to run the ball a little bit when you want to throw it, you know. It's like I said, it's just you have to be able to make people respect and run in order to open things up in the pass game, you know. So it doesn't surprise us. It's, you know, this is not like he's a run and shoot guy where, you know, there's very few runs. I mean, they do run the ball, they count the box, and if the run's there, then you know, the quarterback is smart. Falk's a smart guy, and he executes a run. So, but they do like to throw it. We do know they like to throw it.
They bounced back pretty well since those first two games. What have they done better, differently since those first two games?
Executed, you know. I mean, really, it just comes down to I think executing what the expectations of the players are, you know, doing it right more often than you do it wrong, having a level of consistency that allows you to have success. That's what I see them doing. They haven't changed schematically, you know, they just haven't. I know he challenged his players pretty hard, you know, it was pretty harsh, and obviously they responded to it.
Do you do anything different going to play at Pullman? Is there any kind of different approach, anything that you do?
No, you know, we played there a few years ago. You really can't, you just can't change up every week. You know, I mean, we play at 7:30, kicks out at 7:36, just like it was this last week. We're in the same time zone. The weather will be fine. You know, it's not going to be hot like it was in Arizona, but it's not going to be raining and cold or snowy or sleet or anything like that. So, you know, you just continue to, you know, emphasize the things that'll help you win, you know, the things that have won for you over the years.
Colton's still got that, I just saw him, he's got, it looks like a hard cast. Is there, you said you would say if there was like a pretty obvious injury, is there a season-long issue with him where we might not see him again this season?
No, you'll see him again this season.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see him again this season. It's just a matter of when, I think, you know, it's a pain thing, so, and he's a tough kid, and he wants to be back out there, but if it was season-ending, I'd tell you, it's not.
The offensive line, I think, has given up more sacks than last year already.
Yeah.
How do you kind of get back?
Yeah, you're right. You know, last year, we only gave up 10 on the whole year, and we've given up 15 this year. But once again, I don't want to just pin it on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that when you do that, it's not necessarily accurate or fair. I think that sometimes it's a back not picking up the right guy. Sometimes it's a receiver not running the right route, and so the quarterback has to hold it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the quarterback not getting a good read and, you know, not delivering the ball on time and holding it too long,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's all of those things, and you know, we've got to get better, and we've got to regain our mojo and our confidence, and that's hard to do. You know, if we came out of spring and out of camp, and I felt great about the run game, you know, and after first couple games, I felt like, you know, we could really run the ball, and then, you know, BYU got after us pretty good, and we've kind of, you know, our confidence is a little bit shaky, so we've got to find a way. It's hard. You've got to find a way to be critical and self-critique and demanding and honest with yourself, and at the same time, you've got to find a way to build confidence back. And that's you know, that's tricky. So you got to have some success. You got to try to create some success.
What do you think of Andre James in Colton's place?
I thought he did a nice job. You know, I think he brings a level of physicality that we like. I thought that for his first start, he did a nice job. You know, not perfect, but you know, there was no one on that field on either side that was perfect the other night. So, but I love his effort. I love his attitude, and I think he's just going to keep getting better. You know, if he gets reps, and whether Colton's playing or not, we try to give him reps in that, you know, our bigger package. So.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Okay. All right.